Hey everybody, this is Dan for GemmyD on Cars. It is a crisp, beautiful Friday here in September in Palmyra. I'm back here at Klick Lewis Chevy Buick in Palmyra, PA, and we're taking a look at a pretty sweet car today. This is a 2020 Dodge Challenger Hellcat Widebody, and I really think that this is going to be a future classic muscle car because we don't know what's coming on the future for the Challenger. This car is completing the trifecta of Hellcat powered cars that I've driven this year, but this was the original. This is the OG Hellcat. This car has the same 6.2 liter supercharged V8, 707 horsepower, 650 foot-pounds of torque. It is pretty crazy in just about every way. Now, I'm going to be comparing this also that I drove a Shelby GT Mustang here last year, and I also drove a Camaro ZL1. So this can definitely fight on that level. This has the most power. It's definitely the biggest car as far as size, but this thing just looks badass. And if you'll notice, I have the whole gray theme. I got gray and white to match the car. So we're gonna go over everything. We're gonna get it out on the road. Let's take a look at the Hellcat Widebody. Now, I mentioned that I think this car is going to be a future classic, and I want to tell you why. Now, this Challenger generation has been around since 2008. The Hellcat didn't even come around until 2015. Now, this is a 2020. I don't know what the future holds for the Challenger brand, or the Challenger make, I'll say. I don't know if next generation will be a hybrid V6, but this, Dodge has Hellcated everything. I drove two other cars that had the Hellcat motor. So I don't know what the future holds for the Challenger and the Hellcat motor, but I think this is going to be a future classic because this is the best looking version of a Hellcat because it is the wide body. I know there are versions with more power. There's the Red Eye that has a bigger supercharger that has 797 horsepower. Then there is the Demon, which is really just the go straight in the line car only, which I was never that crazy about the Demon. I'd rather go around corners and go straight. But I think this, when we look back on this car in 20 years, we'll be like, yep, that's the Hellcat. They started the whole crazy horsepower wars. Then now everybody is coming up with power and cars to compete with. I mean, the Mustang GT500 has 760 horsepower now. The Camaro ZL1 has 650. You have to compete with your competitors, obviously, and, raise the bar. But the Hellcat started it all. Everybody is copying the Hellcat. When this came out in 2015, you're like 700 horsepower from a sports car, we'll say, a muscle car, but this thing is just crazy. So let's talk about the styling. All right, to talk about the styling, now this color is actually called White Knuckle Clear Coat. I mean, the names for Dodge cars are crazy. You have the Plum Crazy, but White Knuckle Clear Coat. So we have the white with the gray stripes going the whole way, and the infamous sort of little yellow strip that all Hellcats or Dodges for some reason have adopted. But just look how mean this thing looks. I mean, it's just crazy. Now, it definitely evokes the styling of the Challengers from the 70s. But yeah, this has the double hood scoops right there. Now, the Red Eye has even more power because it has a bigger supercharger, bigger air intake to suck in more air. But plus, you also have your normal headlights, but this is an air intake right here. You can almost fit my whole hand right there. You got the SRT badge right there. And SRT, street and racing technology, they have always made crazy cars, and bravo to them for being the first ones to come up with the Hellcat. Dodge, Fiat Chrysler, if they did one thing correctly as a car company, they put this giant 6.2 liter supercharged V8. But yeah, you could tell the wide body right there. Now these are 305 section tires in the back. We'll go look at them in a second. But just look how big these rims are, 20 inches. You got Brembo brakes right there. You got the Hellcat logo right there. And what's cool in the Hellcat Red Eyes, there's literally a red eye of the Hellcat right there. Just cool little details that you'd like to notice. So I don't think I've really seen many of these in the white with the gray stripes, but I think it looks fantastic. I mean, just look how much this sticks out right there. And I don't know what that thing is crackling over there. but it just sticks out so far and makes this thing look even more badass. I mean, I think the normal, I'll say normal Hellcat looks pretty good, but this is the best looking version because of the wide body. I mean, that sticks out even a couple inches. So going around to the side. Now this car came out when companies were doing like the more retro styling, and this definitely looks like a Challenger from the 70s, but this is a pretty big car. I mean, really big. If you like cars, there are two schools of thought. You can go with the big motor, big body cars like this, or you could go something like a BMW M2. Totally different car, but you know what I mean. There's a big motor, big cars, you know, big heavy things, or you can go the other school of thought as smaller, lighter, you know, way less power. But this thing is pretty much excessive in every way. Now going around back, you still have the gray stripes, and I love this little spoiler right here. It even like sticks up right there. There's a little lip right there, but there's again the SRT logo. Again, the styling evokes this from the 70s. They've had the taillights like this since 2008, but here is the exhaust, and I will tell you what the exhaust sounds like right here. But yeah, it sounds so good. Now, I've often heard complaints that the interior of this car is not the greatest, but having been in this for a couple minutes, it's really not that bad. Plus, you're not buying this car for the interior. There's the nice sort of retro fuel gauge right there. But yeah, as far as the styling goes, absolutely crazy. I mean, it is huge in every way. Rear tires are 305 35/20s. I mean, absolutely huge. But you're gonna wanna have wide tires to put the power down. Now, I've often read that the Red Eye has all that power, 800 horsepower, but this is actually faster because this can get the power down on the ground better. But yeah, the styling looks fantastic. I think it looks better than the ZL1, but I really like the styling of the Mustang GT350. That is just a classically designed car as well. All right, let's take a look at the engine. All right, now this is the piece de resistance. This is the reason for this car existing. This is a 6.2 liter supercharged V8, 707 horsepower, like I've said many times, 650 foot-pounds of torque. It'll go 0 to 60 in about 3.7, which is pretty good for a car as big and heavy as this is, because this is a monster in size and weight. There's a huge intake right there. There's my shadow getting in the way. But look at just how big that cone is, and there is the supercharger. I think it's like 2.4 liter supercharger itself. I know the Red Eye and the Demon have a bigger supercharger. I think those are like 2.7, and I think the Demon gets race fuel to get all the way up to 840 horsepower. But yeah, respect for doing the hydraulic lifts for a car that's $80,000. That is always a good thing. So yeah, this thing is will definitely go down in the Hall of Fame of engines as one of the greatest engines ever. By the time we get to doing all the electric cars, which we are in the middle of, yeah, those wide body, those flares just look so good. But anyway, this is the heart of the beast that gives it all its character and everything. Not sure what this guy's doing with the Honda. Anyway, all right, let's take a look at the trunk for 5 seconds. All right, this is the red key to unlock all the power. We're gonna open the trunk if you hit that twice. Now look, this car comes with a trunk. Do you care? I don't think so. Yeah, they actually were smart enough to give this car a trunk. I don't really care how big it is. You want what's on the other side of this car, so that's the trunk. All right, let's take a look at the inside. By the way, there's the Hellcat's cousin right there. There's another TRX for sale here. So let's check out the interior of the Hellcat. Now this car is nicely tinted, so there's not going to be any glare in here. Now, the only complaint that I've read about this car is the interior and how there might be some plastic or, you know, not the greatest quality materials used in here, but I really don't think it's that bad. This looks exactly like the steering wheel from the Grand Cherokee Trackhawk that had this same motor. But listen, if you're buying this car, you don't care about the interior materials, but there are some cool features that this thing has. So let's start it up, and then we're gonna go listen to the burble real quick. So put on the brake. Oh my God. Here, let's go take a look to the idle. Listen to that. Holy shit. Yes, that's very, very loud. Oh my goodness. Okay, so the one thing that the Dodge infotainment system has is the Uconnect, where you can go over a whole bunch of things. SRT dashboard, let's just try that. Drive modes, performance pages, let's check that out. All right, so the performance pages, well, we have the beautiful idle in our background here. So home, oil temperature, oil pressure, coolant temperature, battery voltage, G-force meter. I mean, this is just insane. Front, left, all that. Engine, that'll tell you how much power you got. Let's just give a little. Yeah, I will get on that a little bit. Dyno, you even have a performance tree. So we do have launch control like every other SRT product. SRT, I mean, it's just insane. There's your launch control. You can hold the revs right there, 1800. I'm not going to try that out just because this is not my car, but yeah. Activate line lock, shift lights. I mean, that's pretty cool. Engine off, hood ajar, battery status, system status. I mean, this is all really cool, but you want to have stuff like this because you are going to rip on this car, absolutely, because that is what the thing is made for. There's your pretty straightforward gauges right down there. Oh, you can finally hear me now. That's pretty fine. That looks like every other, Dodge product of the last 15 years. Here, I just want to turn the accessories on. There's your nice little Hellcat logo right there. I'm going to close the door. Now these gauges sort of look like, ones from the old school where the number sticks with the circle right there. But you've got a 200 mile per hour speedometer right there, and you have a relatively low 5,500 red line right there. But you can go over a bunch of different stuff using the left side of the steering wheel right there. Speed warnings. I mean, there's 10 of them. See, it says 10-9. Diagnostics, screen setup, messages, audio. That's pretty cool. Trip information, fuel economy, which is pretty terrible. We're going to say we're averaging maybe 10, 15. That's not going to go very high. Performance. Now, this says 0 to 60 time a recent 2.2. I don't believe that. That's about a second and a half too fast, so I don't know what happened there. Vehicle information, yeah, we're gonna have to get gas too before we take this thing on the road because we're gonna need to be very thirsty. So speedometer, that's probably what I'd have it on. But I mean, as far as everything else goes, it doesn't really matter, what the materials are. One thing that's weird that this door handle is so far up. I'm used to door handles being up here. But yeah, listen, this is a Hellcat. This is not the selling feature for this car is the interior. Yeah, this generation of Hellcat was updated. The first Hellcat was 2015, and that is when they did a refresh of the Challenger model as a whole. But listen, you got paddle shifters, you got silver trim. Is it the nicest interior I've ever been in? No. But is the Camaro ZL1 the nicest, or the Shelby GT350? No. I mean, the Camaro has a little bit of Alcantara, which is nice, but this has the white stitching. I mean, the Mustang was manual, so that already had a leg up on these two. But they did have a Hellcat version with a manual, which would have been absolutely a whole bunch of fun. I wonder if the manual Hellcat would be the one to get, just to have all that power. Not going to be the fastest because we know the automatics shift faster. But still, I mean, this is a crazy, crazy car. I feel very lucky to have the access to this. Not only the other two Hellcats that I drove this year, but also the Camaro and the Shelby and everything. So shout out to Klick Lewis. So as far as the interior goes, it is what it is. I'm not going to complain. I mean, there is a usable back seat. I don't think I'm going to go back there because it doesn't really matter. If you had a small child, you could absolutely fit them back there. I mean, I'll say there's maybe 6 inches from the back of the seat to the, bottom part of the seat where you would put a child seat. I mean, my daughter's 8. I think she could fit back there just fine. I mean, yeah, you're buying this car for the absolute screaming motor supercharged V8. And that's that. Now, this car is on sale for about $80,000 at Klick Lewis. So if you're interested, I will put Klick Lewis's website right here. So go check them out. This is a great dealer. They have lots of amazing cars and used cars that I've been able to take advantage of. So I think we're going to wrap this up and then go get some gas, and then we're going to get out on the road. All right, so this is going to wrap up my quick walk around of a 2020 Hellcat Widebody. We know it's a legendary Dodge. I really do think this is going to be a future classic car with the motor and the Widebody, which is the best looking appearance of the Hellcat. So now we're going to get it on the road. So stay tuned for that. Hold on to your butts, as I'm going to say. So if you are interested in this car, and there's a TRX over there as well, Don't forget to check out Klick Lewis Chevy Buick here on Main Street in Palmyra, PA. They've always been very gracious with me to let me do my thing. So go check them out. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. You're gonna wanna stay tuned for the drive video after this one. So hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at GemmyD on Cars, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.